Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Heyo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back into my cosplay show. I'm Matt Wacker, coming to you from the luxurious site that I now call Quarantineville, which subsequently is nothing like Margaritaville. How very sad. Although that has been happening here, who am I kidding? Also, by the way, happy Easter weekend to all of you out there. I hope you're able to spend it with family. If not, able to FaceTime them. First major holiday during all of this mess that we may be spending away from our loved ones. So that was part of my inspiration for hopping on here and making this video in hopes of maybe brightening somebody's day. Just trying to do my part during all this until we can flatten the curve and go back to some semblance of normalcy and be amongst our people again. So I wonder what we're going to talk about today. I feel like there may not be enough visual evidence lying about to make it clear to you folks at home. I can tell you this, however, we're not going to talk about Tiger King, all right? If you want that, you can hop on social media. You'll see all the memes to make your heart flutter. That show is bonkers. Ultimately, I decided that I don't like any of these people. Carol Baskin, did she do it? Probably, but I'm not here to feed that frenzy. I'm here to talk about my own kind of crazy, and that's cosplay. Okay, we're going to talk about cosplay. I thought today would be a good opportunity for me to give you some personal background on why I got involved in this endeavor. And if we go down that route, there's one character that has been my inspiration for a long time, and he wears red, blue, and yellow. And of course, I'm talking about the Man of Steel, Superman. So I know that I've been spending a lot of time with Batman lately, and as much as I do adore that character, when it comes to my personal hierarchy of comic book characters, Superman is firmly established as the number one, and there are many reasons for that. A lot of them are personal, honestly, things that many people may not understand, but there's a relatability that I share with Clark Kent, growing up in a small town, in a farming community. And I did that. And being instilled with a strict and very strong moral code and knowing right from wrong. And, I credit my parents for doing that with me, and how he always makes the right decision, or at least the one that he thinks would be respected by, his parents and his peers. Despite all the powers that he has, where he could literally do anything, he always wants to make the right choice. And that's kind of how I live my life. I want to do the right thing. And so I credit Superman with that. And for those reasons, him being completely interwoven into the fiber of my being and my philosophy on life, there's no other character that could usurp him from that top spot. My first exposure to the character came roughly 30 years ago, and I had to think about this because I don't want to give misinformation. Although many of you don't really know me, I hate doing that. I don't want to mislead or misguide. But I recall being a young boy and plopping down in front of the TV to watch a movie, and my dad was there, and I was like, what is this? It was a Sunday morning, ABC, and first appearance of this guy in my life, and I remember I was just glued to it. I couldn't take my eyes off of what I was seeing, and years later, I recall, learning that the tagline to this was, "You'll believe a man can fly." And now all these years later, I know I've matured, but it's one of those things that I refuse to give up. Like, first time I saw it, I did believe that, and I still believe that, and it's a very real thing for me. And left a very powerful impact. And that's why, that's one of my favorite movies ever. And so after that, I got more interested in comics for the first time. And at that time, the death of Superman was really taking off, or it was, basically just starting and would ultimately become DC's highest selling storyline. I didn't get too involved with that. I was reading some older comics, and the first one I read was by John Byrne, The Man of Steel, 6-part miniseries that was a retelling for a modern audience, and this was back in the mid-'80s, 1986, which, fun fact, that's my birth year, so also another connection that I share and why I like this so much. And it was from this that inspired me to want to wear this costume, because this is modeled after this. And I'll get more into that and the rest of these here in a bit, but I just wanted to give you some background on when I was first exposed to Superman. That sounds wrong. And you don't want us exposing ourselves. In terms of cosplay, I knew that for as long as I've been a fan of Superman, that it only stood to reason that he be one of the first characters that I begin this endeavor with. And I'd always observed from afar, going to comic book conventions and seeing other people, dress up, and always being, really wowed by some of the stuff that I had seen when I would go out to these things. But I was, shy guy, kind of reserved, had some anxiety issues. And so it was never something that I really got too involved with until I turned 30. And I realized at that point that, who cares? Just who cares? And so I really kind of, sunk my teeth into it. I've always been a goal-driven person, and I feel goals are good, they're healthy. And at that point, I was established in my career, and this was something that I wanted to do to express myself, to be able to show people that this is how much I care about this thing, this fandom, this character. I'd have to open up the discussion of the trunks, because the trunks are important. You don't have a character that goes on for 70, 75 years and then all of a sudden be like, hey, let's just get rid of the trunks. Like, no, you're besmirching the character. Don't do that. So anytime I'm out cosplaying Superman, I have to make a point of saying it's trunks or bust. And no offense to anybody who prefers the Man of Steel, Henry Cavill, or the New 52, or the Rebirth. That's fine. That's your thing. But for me, there's a lot of passion involved in wanting to cosplay classic Superman and to have those trunks on display. I presently own 3 suits. This one, like I already mentioned, is based off of John Byrne's Man of Steel, at least this particular S. This was made by the incomparable Robin Johnson. Not enough kind words can be said about that man and his ability. Also, behind me, the top was made by Robin, and I was inspired to create this look, or have this costume, after Brandon Routh returned and portrayed Kingdom Come Superman and during the Crisis event that was on the CW late last year, earlier this year. Obviously, this is Alex Ross's work based off of his illustration, which totally fascinated with. I love it. I think it's amazing. And then this one down here is my latest, with a raised S. I bought this complete, but it didn't really fit me, so I had to disassemble it and then rejigger some things and then make it so it would conform to my particular body type. But I love all 3 of these. There are other suits I've owned in my past. When I first got started, and Robin can attest to this, I actually asked for like a hybrid new 52 suit, and he made it and sent it to me. And I asked to have trunks made with it. I liked the look at the time with the collar and the cape. I just wanted to have some trunks because, like I've said, it's trunks or bust. It wasn't working for me, and there were some issues with that. And he provided this one, which is still my favorite. I love this. I wear it all the time. So anyway, I've got these 3 suits, and I'm going to go ahead and take them down one by one and do some further explanation on some things. Kicking off this breakdown with the suit that started it all for me, really. I can't say that Superman was my first cosplay. That distinction belongs to Han Solo, but I have since retired from that. I've sold that costume, but this is one that I'll keep forever, just because of what it means to me. I never thought that I'd ever have the confidence to walk around in public wearing tight spandex until I put this on, and the support that was shown and the feedback I got. I look at it, and it's just a great confidence boost. It already has the stigma of being, a proud symbol. But then now what it's done for me on a personal level, this will be with me forever. Made by Robin Johnson, again, very talented, just a great guy. He's pretty much run the gamut on Superman suits. I think he's made every iteration, just does excellent work. I'm not sure if he still makes the suits, but he did a fantastic job with this one. The S on here is unique, representative of the Man of Steel. Again, the John Byrne miniseries from back in the 80s, like I mentioned before. If there's any Superman that I'm known for, it's likely this because of the uniqueness of this. There aren't many others, if any, who have a suit with this S on it. He also made this cape. Beautiful flowing cape with a very striking S, a more traditional S that you would see more universally known, I suppose. But again, very striking, very pretty. And met Robin years ago at Metropolis, something I failed to mention. I go to Metropolis almost every summer now. I think I've missed out on one since 2011. We're not going to have it this year because of the circumstances, which is sad. But again, it was one more thing that inspired me to get involved in Superman cosplay and to show my passion for this character. This is my Kingdom Come Superman. This particular top was one of Robin Johnson's early works. He was selling a set of 4 different tops and a pair of tights on Facebook, and I went ahead and bought those. I was inspired when it was announced that Brandon Routh would be returning as Superman and playing this particular version in the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. Didn't care for it that much, but I did like his portrayal. I thought he did a great job. And this is one I've always wanted to add to my Superman closet. Kingdom Come is a mid-90s story from Alex Ross in which Superman, Clark Kent, has been in isolation, in quarantine, which, how fitting is that right now? But basically, there is a new generation of superheroes who aren't acting very ethically, and so he is brought out of his exile to straighten them up. And, things have happened since he's last been seen. Most notably is the loss of Lois, and that's why the yellow is missing and replaced with black. Yellow is hope, and black is the lack of hope. So that's what you're seeing here. It's a great story, one of my favorites. I really like the message that's in there, and I wanted to add this to it. It's
it's a great costume. I haven't worn this in public yet, and it might get updated if I'm being perfectly honest. I just did this with the elastic. The cape on this is a curtain. It's basically a living room window curtain. It's giant. It's like 7 or 8 feet long, but I thought it would be great for a nice, long, flowy cape. It was the color I was looking for. And so I bought some elastic strips, and I went ahead and fed those through where the curtain rod would go, and I got a snap, so it snaps in the back. So it looks really neat. And it's something that if I want to wear this particular cape with any of the 3 suits that I own, I can mix and match. And that's what's great about Superman, is if the red in the costume is comparable, I can do that. I can mix and match, and that's what makes it fun. And then again, the creativity behind it, just finding what is available. I like this curtain came from a Walmart clearance section. It was $5. I liked the color. I wanted something a bit darker than the bright red that I already had. And for Kingdom Come, that's part of the aesthetic is, it's darker. Like, he's gone through some stuff. He's been in pain. And, the red is more of a darker, almost burgundy red in that particular story than the bright, hopeful red that we're accustomed to seeing from Superman. So, I like this cape a lot just because, there was some ingenuity that had to go into it and something that, I had to kind of put together myself. Here we have my third and most recent suit, one that I'm really proud of because I've kind of put this one together myself. I found the suit initially on Instagram. There was a guy on there who was selling an entire finished suit. I went ahead and bought it, and I thought it might be too small, and it was. So I went ahead and dissected it, which is something I like to do in cosplay, and I'm not afraid to buy somebody else's kit and, take bits and pieces of it and get rid of things I'm not going to use. I basically bought it because of this right here. Amazing raised silicone urethane Superman S. Really pops. I know I've shared pictures and so forth on social media of just it by itself. Really like how that looks. So I took it and cut that off of the old spandex suit that it was attached to, because these have to be glued down. And the old suit was a size medium. And if you've seen me lately, or if you've seen me at all in person, that's just not going to work, because Maddie's a big boy. So I went and I really liked the shade of blue too. I should mention that this is the same blue that this was on initially, and I wanted to keep that same effect. You got the traditional royal blue, which is great for Superman, but I also wanted to have some differentiation with the blue here, so I used that opportunity to keep this same lighter blue and attach the S to just a larger spandex suit. So this was one that I had bought from China, and it fits. I like it. The cape that came with that kit was kind of a cheaper looking cape, so I went ahead and I sold that, and I actually made a trade with Keith Howard, who is also very prominent both in Superman and the Batman worlds. Makes a lot of really great suits, fantastic work that he does. He made this cape, which doesn't have an S on it, and was also, that was one I was looking for, because I feel it's important to have a cape with an S and then one without, just, again, for that whole mixing and matching thing. So this doesn't have an S, but it's really well constructed, very durable, very nice cape that, again, I can wear with any of my other suits. And then I found a pair of trunks that I bought off the internet that go with this. And overall, Haven't had a chance to wear this in public yet, but I am dying to. I really like how this looks. Sometimes I just come home and put these things on and just walk around my house in it, because I'm a free American. But yeah, this one there's been some labor put into it. I'm trying to get to the point where I can make things myself. I'm not exactly sure what that is yet, but I'm working on it. Something I wouldn't mind constructing and then potentially getting good at it, honing my craft at it, and providing it to other cosplayers, either through Etsy or what have you. But yeah, this is my third suit, and there you have it. There's all three of them. Take a moment here to comment on some of the other Superman items that I own. This belt right here was made by Charlie Soffer, and Charlie is best known as being the St. Louis Superman, so you would see him around Busch Stadium in the summertime. He also goes to several conventions in the St. Louis area. A really nice guy. He made this belt for me several years ago. It's a high-quality belt, and again, it's a great piece to have that, is swappable, so I can wear it with any of my 3 costumes that I presently own. The buckle in the front was yellow, and I went ahead and got some gold spray paint to kind of give it an accent, give it a different look, which is something that you might see in some versions of Superman comics. Traditionally it's a yellow buckle, but the Alex Ross Superman, he fancied a gold buckle, so I wanted to have that as an option for me as well. But overall, it's a very nice belt. My mom would be so upset with me right now. Your boots are on the table. Get your boots off the table. People have to eat there. Yes, Mom. These are my one and only pair of Superman boots. I bought these secondhand off of Facebook. I believe these were made by Keith Howard, and likely one of his earlier pairs. I haven't had a chance to wear these in public myself yet, but they look like they're very serviceable. Keith is known for his accuracy and his attention to detail, and one thing that I appreciate about these is this right here, the V at the top. It's very important for classic Superman. But yeah, these look like they're very serviceable boots, and ones that I will be glad to wear until I potentially upgrade. There you have it. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching this. Really appreciate that. I hope you all have a wonderful Easter. Stay safe out there. And, while you're at it, go ahead and check out my other social channels. I've been on Instagram. I just joined TikTok. That's a thing that happened. I just joined TikTok, and I've already slipped down that wormhole. A lot of funny stuff on there. Put my first video up the other day. A little nod to the old '89 Batman VHS tape. Yeah, that was a lot of fun to do that. And I've got some more ideas. They're all percolating right now. I'm like a coffee pot. There's steam coming out of my head. So I'm hoping to get some more stuff up there soon. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Underwear on the outside. You can keep those jokes to yourself, okay? It's trunks or bust.